Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Sharon and I'm a novice potter from Queensland, Australia. Oh, excuse me. Today is Boxing Day and I've had my brand new 10-day-old granddaughter, my 4-year-old granddaughter, my daughter and son-in-law and my son for 2 nights. And I'm exhausted. Baby had a really bad night last night with really bad tummy ache from something a mum ate. And, oh, well, are we worn out. So, I've got a pot here that I threw several days ago. It's not fabulous, but it will be good to practice on. I've got some palettes and all the gear for painting. And on my previous video, I think if you'd seen that, you'll know that I am also a painter. So I've always wanted to try painting on pottery. So I ordered, before Christmas, 2 of these watercolour underglaze paint sets from Amico. Oh goodness, they're stuck. Now, I'm an experienced painter and I am a watercolourist, so I don't envisage having a lot of trouble with this, but I've never painted on anything porous like this. And this is not bisque-fired. It's raw, dried pot, raw clay. And if it works, you'll see this. So I'm going to put on the side of this pot. One of my other hobbies is photography. And a few years ago I took a photo of this eastern spinebill drinking nectar from a bottle brush flower in my backyard. And I've actually 3/4 finished an oil painting of this particular shot, and I thought I might attempt to sketch that onto there. So I'm going to sketch that up. I'll see if I can direct the camera enough that you can see what I'm working on. I don't have my tripod here set up, and I may have to do that, but I'll try to do it without it because, hey, I'm tired. So we'll see how we go. So I've just got a normal lead pencil. Turn it round and find somewhere. I have my reference here. I don't think I can put it where you can see it without the wind blowing it everywhere. But I am just going to sketch very, very, very lightly. So that's where the flower is going to be, and I have tendrils coming off there. I rather paint, I only sketch very, very small guidelines in. So I've got the tail coming down here, and the tail will go off the pot. And then he's almost straight up and down, but not quite, so his beak will come out, a slight curve there. And then the head go around there, kind of goes out there, and then almost straight down, and then the wings. Go right off here. Trying to get this in shot as well. And they go down to about here. And the body comes out under the wings. Down there. Tail will come out a little bit longer. And then it goes up at an angle like that. As I said, this is going to be very much just an experiment in getting used to the paints, more so than a finished beautiful bird. However, we're getting close. That breast comes out down there, around, more there.
Good, that new power head's working well.
That's good.
I've got to go down and that'll do.
The flower will come more up here. Put the tendrils off there. This will obviously burn off more in the kiln. This head more straight out there. And the beak much further. And the eye probably about there. So far so good. Okay, let's work with that. Don't know how much of that's on camera, so I'll just pause you there and get my paints set up. Okay, so I have quite a lot of colours here, and I think you can see that the sketch that I was using was in shot, so I think this will be too. Okay, let's start with this peach colour. Having said that, and I'm going to be crossing over to get to this, but in order for you to see, we've got our drawing, and I'll start with this citrus colour down here, and that's got quite a green tone, green tinge to it. I'll work that. And this is going to be quite sketchy. Flowers are quite sketchy anyway. I've brought the flower too far over here, so I'm certainly not going to be doing that. I don't know how many coats of these I've got to use, because I didn't bother to read the instructions, because that's the way I go. Where did I? Now that peach I'm going to mix. Bear with me. I need some red out. Prism. Now I know that the glaze will burn out, so I want to leave that with nothing underneath it. So just add just a touch of that red, and that will give me a nice pinky colour to add to this salmon. I really like that. I like the variations in those colours in with there. It's a lovely soft lime green. So I'm going to mix some of that up and mix it in with this. Not too far down. And some of this light yellow. And get that around it. Back to the lemon, citrus lemon. Now, we want to bleed that up into there so it doesn't look silly. We want to bleed this, but not quite so red, down into there, so it all reads as one flower. A little bit more of the yellow up in there. There we go. Now those stems, on a much finer brush than that. This one looks pretty good. And they're coming out quite yellow. And I know these colours will burn paler. It's quite dry here today, so it's very much drying as I speak. And I'm going to add different colours, different tones of all these colours. And on the end of these they have that salmon-y pink, nice little colour. Put on the end of these. This is going to be quite stylised. It certainly won't be a polished piece. But I really want to experiment and see what I can do with these under glazes. And now, in between those bits, just to make it look like they're the ends of some. And some of the yellow. Going to do those bits in a minute. Want some of this limey green down here. I'm not used to these colours being quite so, they're hard. The paint is very hard and solid, and I'm used to my watercolours being very much more liquid, so that's something I'll have to get used to. And I'm also painting away from myself, which I would normally paint like this, of course, and I want you to see it, so I'm actually counterintuitively painting here. This pot is nothing special. It's quite rough. It was an experiment, so again, if it doesn't come out, who cares? Now, in behind that, I want some brown. This light brown will do. I might get another paintbrush to mix these, because this is going to wreck my brushes quite quickly if I use them for that. So I'll just use a cheap brush to wet these paints, and this is a beautiful plummy brown colour over here, so I'd like some of that too. So with this brown, I'm going to take, I'm going to have to turn this around to here to use like this to make some stems, to make it look a little more realistic, like this is flower isn't just floating in space. This is appalling, guys. Certainly wouldn't be entering this into any competitions. Not that I did a lot of that. I did some. Won a few awards, that sort of thing. Not my cup of tea. So I'll just add some darker details. This rim has to be refined and all sorts of things. So. No. But I do want there to be some background to this piece. So I want it to look like this is not floating in midair. So I'm going to add some mustard bits in here, just for depth. Top. Not putting them down, hands too heavy on this because it's bisqueware. I don't want to shatter it. But I do of course want it to look like it's a flower and not just some random piece of cotton wool stuck on the end of some lines. What's this? Bright yellow. Put some of that there. And comes down here. Hey, back again. Took a short break. Talked to my husband, who was here annoying me. So, and I'm not sure with these colours what's going to burn out, so I don't really know what I'm going to use in coats. But we shall see. So this is dark here. You can see down here if it's in shot, this part of the bird is sunlit and so is this, so I want that lighter and fluffier. So I will change to this light yellow. Brush this in your mouth like I'm doing now. It's not good for you. So what I'm going to do with this, beg your pardon, is actually paint those sunlit parts with white. And like I said, I don't know. Actually, I've got a better white here, so I still want that white underneath. So hopefully this works. And here, it'll hopefully lighten it. If not, it doesn't matter. I've at least learnt from that. It is drying quite white, so might be what I want. I'll put a couple of coats of that on. Lighten up that lemon that I've already put there. And go back with this light yellow from there. Just this bit under the wing here. Now there is a creamy white just from there up to there, and of course I know that this lead pencil, this graphite is going to burn out, so it should leave that white there, but I am going to put slightly mottled background colour in there. Again, I'll go through that. Yeah, it is drying quite white, so that's good. So that white I want as an underpaint. However, this bit I want quite white. And some of it I will go over and some of it I won't. It comes up here. A little bit in the back of his head that I want underneath there. And a little bit down the tail. Okie doke. Also, actually, a few bits under here so that I can go over those later. And where I put more, it will read sailor. Okay, that goes quite cream right up there. Just establish the shape a little bit more in there, where I've lost it just a little. Under here is not that green normally, that is some paint that I've put on there. Actually might use that because I now know that it will dry white when it's actually dried. This is the opposite to what watercolour does actually. Acrylic does actually. It's more like a true watercolour because true watercolour dries about 30 to 50% lighter than it actually is, whereas acrylic paints dry darker. Let's go in with these mustards. I want this bright yellow here. And I'm going to start now working like I would with paints. So down here. Do some arty-farty stuff, as my mother-in-law would say when I do this. And I want this light brown. I want to go in here. And over the back end here. And give that golden feathery look. This is not going to look like this bird. I'm just not going to bother with that so much as working with what the colours will do for me. Through here I want some greeny yellows, so I'll take this bright yellow I want the continuity of the colour as well. And that was the bright yellow. I also want that to come down here. And through into here. And just mute that and blend it in so it looks less blotchy and more feathery. Just layering to get that. And I mean, I know what this would look like if it was a painting with watercolours. no idea what it's going to look like as an underglaze. No idea. But anyway, I'll take this down here because I do want that graduating there through to a bright yellow. And I also want a little bit of that bright yellow here. Some through here. Again, it's not going to look anything like this bird, but I am just wanting to get the shape. It is really quite difficult. If I like doing this, I will set my camera up over my left shoulder so I can paint straight on as I would normally do, like this, which would make it a heck of a lot easier for me, guys. But c'est la vie. Now from here, I'm going to start, actually that brush isn't what I want. I want a fine brush. Start with a little bit of detail. So this one, which is quite fine. And I want to bring in, firstly, this light brown colour. I'll bring that in down here. Just overlay that white just a little bit. I want it almost dry brushy. Take it down into here. Just get myself a little bit more of a feathered look. Down around here. That's better. Much better. Sometimes just go off the track and not even look at the painting and just do what you feel. Because sometimes it's not about the painting. It's about how it feels to you. I'm going to go in. So this one is dark brown, and now I want to come in with some detail. So I want to come in here. And I do want to leave the eye about there. Brown, work it down there. Geez, I'm rusty. Really rusty. Haven't painted for quite some time. But it'll come up okay. Good enough for this experiment, that's for sure. I want some of that darker brown. Slight curve there and up there. Take it down there, into the belly, which isn't what it's got there, but I want the definition. I really do. Down there. Now, go in with a mixture of this, of a little bit of black in with this, a little black, and let's define this. Got a fine liner. To come in. Okey-doke, let's go. This is black down here. Now this is going to bring it together. Adding the pure black. Hi. Well, I was going to make this a two-part segment, and I did say I was really tired and I forgot to check my camera. I don't use a vlogging camera. I have a normal mirrorless DSLR. So it has no screen I can watch when I video. And I forgot to check, didn't I? And my battery died. I don't get any warning on my camera of my battery dying, and it just died. So, unfortunately, I don't have anything on tape of me finishing the whole bird's body and wings and background. However, from this photograph that I took a couple of years ago of an eastern spinebill, sipping nectar from a bottle brush flower, an Australian native. You know, as a painting it sucks, in my opinion, but as my first attempt at painting with underglazes on a greenware pot, quite happy. So this is my little eastern spinebill. Now I will, I think, do more of these videos. And I guess if you like them you can watch it, if you don't like them you don't watch. But I am quite rusty, and I may add some pinks to that flower. The top half of the flower is quite salmon pink, but it is quite subtle in the photograph and on the flowers. So I'm not sure, I may add some depth to that, but other than that, and a highlight in the eye, but other than that I won't touch this. It's covered in glaze and water, and I'm just going to, you probably won't see this, just going to scratch back just above the pupil of the bird. Scratch back a highlight on the eye, back to the clay. I don't want a bright highlight, I want it to be quite subtle. And I'm very rusty, guys. I haven't painted for much at all for a few years. I go on and off. Sometimes I paint, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I pick it up, sometimes I put it down. I have a lot of hobbies and I chop and change between my hobbies. And incorporating painting into pottery just fills a gap, fills a need for me. So I hope that this comes out. I've no idea what I'm doing with underglazes. I've never tried them, I've never used never fired them, haven't done anything like that. So this is purely an experiment on a pretty ordinary pot that I threw experimenting the other day. But yeah, I will bisfire that. If there's not enough depth in the colours, or if I want more depth in the painting, I may add a little more colour to it and then glaze it. I don't know how that'll go. Please let me know. All you people that work with underglazes particularly, and are more experienced with me, which is pretty much everybody, please give me some advice. I'd love it. Any advice you can give me is more than welcome. So thank you for joining me. I am sorry that the video cut out in the last third of this piece, and I will do another piece later. A few more pieces. I'd like to do a much larger pot and do this bird in it, and when I get more proficient with the underglazes, do a better job. So, hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for joining me. Sorry for the ramble. I better go have something to eat, have a glass of wine, chill out and get some sleep. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and come back. I love this. I really love this pottery. And I love this YouTubing. And I love connecting with all of you. Bye for now. See you in the next video.